Let's go. You lead the way. Where are we headed? Towards a net zero future, of course. Cleaner water, more electricity, a sustainable society. That's the destination we've set ourselves. This we know. Yes, we know exactly where we're going, but we need to get there quicker. So, let's build on the progress we've already made by working and walking together. With the right partners, tools and ideas, we'll become an unstoppable force. This we know. Right now, there are businesses who are putting technology and sustainability at the heart of everything they do. Brave leaders turning maybes into realities and building something better for everyone. Now is the time to look to the future and reinvent ourselves today, empowering others to do the same tomorrow. Yes, we know what the future holds, and we know how to get there. So, let's take charge of the journey today.
Welcome to our school board meeting.
Namaskar.
Hello.
Hi.
Spiffio, access in any language.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much
Hi.
for joining us from so many places. We're really happy to be here today. And we are all part of the Khoj team. My name is Saisha. Hi, hello. My name is Saisha, and I will be your moderator today. On our panel today, from the Khoj team, we have Sangeeta, who is our school director, founder school director at Khoj. We have Vanisha. Vanisha works as our teacher at grade 2. And we have Lekha. and Lekha is our founder, social worker at Khoj School. Thank you so much for joining us from many places. We see that we have people from Oman, from Argentina, from Egypt. We're really happy to be sharing our learnings about Khoj, about our school with all of you. So Khoj is a school in the Mankhurd Govandi community in Mumbai. Khoj is a school which was set up in 2017. We serve over 200 students coming from our community. And Mankhurd and Govandi regions are areas that rank among the lowest in the HDI index in our city. Central to Khoj's commitment to education is our view that teaching and learning does not happen in isolation, but it happens through a harmonious and healthy ecosystem that revolves around the child's well-being. This has led Khoj to develop a holistic educational model informed by social emotional learning, SEL. The process focuses on building emotional intelligence and empathy in not just our students, but in our caregivers, a term that Khoj prefers to use for parents. That brings us to our category for today, which is community collaboration. We will be hearing from our panelists on this topic. If you'd like to share our event on social media, please do so using the hashtag WorldEduWeek. We'd love to also have your questions and receive them. For any questions that you may have for our panelists today, please use the chat box. With this, we would like to begin with our first question to Sangeeta. Sangeeta, if we may ask you, what role do you see the community play in the school's functioning?
Thank you so much, Saisha, for a lovely start. As educators and caregivers, we might be aware or we know that students are not growing or learning in an isolation. We know that the learning, experiences, and exposures from the school and the community is adding into their learning and experiences and their growth. If you have to look at some data, socioeconomic condition and vulnerable report says the area that we work with in Mumbai, India has ranked lowest in the Human Development Index. And if you have to look at the other data, age group of 3 to 5 children in this ward defined as subdivision of a town or a city of municipality in Mumbai and India. This ward of age group of 3 to 5 children do not go to school, which means that the literacy rates are extremely low compared to the other cities. The communities in the context of our work. Many residents do not have a positive outlook towards their lifestyle. There is blame, shame, and guilt about the lifestyle. Nor do many residents feel connected because where they belong to, the life of the situations, or they are there because they were pushed by the system or by the virtue of having been born in the houses of low-income families, because the access to better quality of life has been denied at multiple levels. We as Khoj always believed that school is part of the community and community is part of the school. Hence, partnership is crucial, where school and the community are co-building the school for the children. When we say partnership, we mean that we are engaging with each other, the caregivers and the school, in understanding and developing similar languages, in creating an environment. For example, if we are saying no to physical or emotional or mental violence in the school, how do we continue at home as well and in the community? Our approach has been through the conversational spaces at multiple forums, like monthly caregivers meetings, one-to-one conversation, student caregiver teacher conference, teachers FaceTime with the caregivers, visiting home, which is adding a common message for the students and helping us co-build the environment that the community and the school aspires for the children. Our partnership with the community has resulted in many effective. To celebrate few of them, I'm going to bring few examples here. From hunting for the space for the school to run or to have functional classrooms. The community support system we've witnessed stand together to identify the vendors, to bargain for the prices, to offer their skills and talent to ensure the school gets the proper maintenance or has the functional classrooms. We've also witnessed during the lockdown, we all of us witnessed many crises, but what has been really beautiful for us to witness with this partnership is many houses, many families have offered their places for the students to have access to smart devices, for the children who were not having the access to, or to just to supervise online learning forums for the children. Just to share another example, a team of some of the caregivers went to find out government scheme to find out reasonable buses for students to travel from the community to the school. Some of the parents also took the opportunity to meet the local counselor from the area to appeal for a better place for the students to learn. Some of the things which we have seen and genuine kindness that we have witnessed in the community is that when school is on break, be it winter break or a summer break, the care of the school property or school building is purely taken by the community to protect, to ensure that it is safe. It really gives me joy when I heard from one of the parents coming and saying, after 2 years of continuous conversation, that why physical violence is not okay. The other day she comes and she tells me, Didi, in our context we call Didi and Bhaiya to the teachers. Didi means brother, sister, and Bhaiya means brother. Comes and tells me, Didi, now I understand why you always told us, or we always had conversations about what are the other options to communicate to the child about certain issues instead of hitting. And this child and this parent has completely seen changing the relationship. These moments of continuous effort strengthens the faith in why collaboration with the community is so important and the partnership that we have, which really matters. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta, for sharing your insights with us. So this is Sangeeta, who I said is our school director. She's someone whose hope and dream to do justice by her community, and most importantly, to do justice by the young people in her community, has led to the inception of Khoj. Thank you so much for sharing with us. We will now go in and ask Lekha. Lekha, if you can share with us, what role have you seen building relationships with the community look like for you? What role, as a social worker, what has that looked like for you?
Thank you, Shaisha. Community, the word itself speaks about building relationship with people in the community, with diverse people in the community. So here at Code, we give a lot of importance or value to connecting with caregivers and parents through trust, respect, and empathy. We also believe in consistently following these values in school and the caregivers. So, when I speak about connecting, We have regular check-in calls with the parents and the caregivers who may need any sort of emotional support. We usually listen and understand them before directing and guiding them to gain for the right kind of support. We also do regular home visits. We have a monthly caregiver meeting wherein we bring various facilitators who support in understanding self care, health and hygiene, um, understanding adolescence. These sessions are selected after needs or concerns are raised by the parents or the caregivers. Caregivers have also collaborated with us on whether our students need uniform or, or if it was for looking for space for the children's learning. So there are few caregivers who have been actively engaged in the maintenance of our schoolroom spaces. We also have a school management committee. We have around 10 members here. They are chosen representatives from among the caregivers. They are the bridge between the caregiver and the school. They are the voices who support the overall school development with the government bodies. So we also, our SMC members are also uh, ambassadors to our social emotional learnings. They are all trained in this SEL skills, which are then shared by them with our other caregivers. I feel more honored when they feel it's safe to approach us with different concerns that they have and they're struggling with or different struggles that they go through and seek our support. I have seen and experienced great value in this one to one connection and collaboration in the everyday lives of our students, not only in school but also at home and in the communities that they live in. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lekha, for sharing all the insights that you did. So this is Lekha Didi, who we all call Lekha Didi with a lot of love. She's been with the community and worked with the community way before Khoj even began, and she continues to be the fulcrum for us, for our caregivers, our parents in the community. Thank you so much for sharing. Um, Moving on now to Vanisha. Vanisha, can you share with us that what role does the community play in student learning within your classroom?
Sure. Thank you, Saisha. So I think that community plays a huge role in students' learning for their holistic development, classroom culture, and a lot of things. Classroom culture and community culture teach students the social emotional skills they need to succeed in the world, in and out of the school. These skills include understanding and managing emotions, to be able to talk and take a pause during any kind of conflict, to be able to talk to that person or another person instead of being reactive or just sitting alone with those emotions. Another would be setting or achieving goals for themselves. It can be as small as it is, and it can be as big as their dream for. Feeling and showing empathy for maintaining positive relationships and making responsible decisions. Creating bond or having connection with caregivers helps to understand the home environment, routine of the day, likes and dislikes of the students, also things which we sometimes miss knowing about the students and end up trying multiple things in the classrooms. Many of the time, home visits give insightful stories about the context they live in or the resources available around them, which helps the educator to plan classroom activities. I remember a conversation with a caregiver during an online class. She said, Didi, what you teach in the class helps me to learn and teach the same thing to my child, which is helping me to enhance my parenting skills and a stronger bond with my child. Another example is from grade 2 class. We were reading a story about community helpers in which whole class started sharing about the helpers they see in the community and how do they help us. One of the students replied, Didi, whenever I see a sweeper on the road, it gives me a reminder not to throw garbage on the road. Or when I see the doctor, it gives me a reminder to eat healthy. In Apni Shala, we believe in strength based approach and growth mindset, where approaches are shown to be effective in developing and maintaining hope in individuals to make them believe in themselves and people around them. While studying about different concepts or topics in the classroom, Community plays an important role where they can make connections and see real time examples. For example, visiting shops and talking to the shopkeepers to understand money concept or practicing addition subtraction by buying and exchanging money with the shopkeeper. Sometimes inviting caregivers as guest speakers. One of the caregiver came and talked about her work, life as a fisher, her routine or things she do throughout the day, shared stories and challenges that she faced. Another caregiver came and shared her journey of sending her child to the therapy center, shared her own experiences, challenges, and the changes she can see in her child, and gave other caregivers hope, confidence to at least visit the center and see if they can help their children. We are also trying to build positive outlook towards the community by inviting community to the classrooms and classroom to the communities.
Thank you so much for sharing, Vanisha. So this was Vanisha. Vanisha is someone who holds a really unique position in the classroom and sharing a world with her students as well. She really understands their aspirations, hopes, concerns really closely and works with that within the classroom. Thank you so much, Vanisha. So this was us and what we had to bring to you. We would love to take a few questions that may be coming in. We already do have two questions I think that have come in, and I will pose the questions to you panelists and feel free to take them. First one is, how do you think it affects the children to see their caregivers involved in their school? Sangeeta, would you like to take this?
I think what we have seen is the sense of joy because we believe in partnership with the caregiver, and it's not just like the coming and helping the school. It is together what we can build for the children. Because SMC members or school management committees purely are the caregivers of the children who are coming to us, and they're elected by the other caregivers of the community. What we have seen is students enjoying seeing the parents coming to school, because what we are also trying to build is not it's a power they hold, but it is a role they hold in building the school is what they see. So yes, that's the thing that we've always witnessed with the students in our school. Thank you. I hope I responded to the question.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone, if you would like to add to it, Vanisha or Lekha Didi, would you like to add to Sangeeta's response? Surely, go ahead,
So
Lekha Didi.
recently, the caregiver meeting that we had, I think 2 days back, and we had this junior KG student crying because his mom is not here. So he doesn't know much about it, but still he wants his mom to be a part of the school. So that is what we observe. So it really has an impact if your mom is here.
Absolutely. I think the role that it plays even in building trust for the child to be able to see that the school and the parent are working together, are being with each other. I think it's a whole different level of trust that gets built. Thank you for that. Thank you for the question, Domi. There's another question also that's come up. There was another school yesterday, Trilema Zamora in Spain, that spoke about empathy. Interested in knowing our approach to it. So Domi is interested in understanding how we see that approach. How do you transmit this to caregivers and students? Because I understand it is not something easy to directly teach, right? She's talking about empathy. What is our approach to empathy? Anyone who would like to take it? Vanisha, would you like to share and start? I think if Anisha is having a few tech issues, Sangeeta, why don't you start and then Lekha Didi, you can follow.
Yeah, I think one is that when we say empathy, one is that we need to be compassionate towards oneself and others as well, and empathize towards oneself and others. Um, what we have been doing is that just patiently offer listening ears, right? So I know like because Lekha Didi is more of a frontliner with the caregivers. I know the kind of opportunity for having conversational spaces we build for the caregivers is just incredible, because we also have caregivers with various age. There are like caregivers who are the first timer into the parenting lifestyle. Some parents are more experienced caregivers. How do we customize our approach? So one is that we cannot have a standardized approach because we are working with human beings. One thing that definitely needs is just offering listening ears. And I think our work being in the community. So our home visits, our conversation with the caregiver, and this is done by the entire team. Right? So how these conversations and the multiple stories of the students help us stay grounded with the caregivers and with the students is something that really helps in our work of contact.
Absolutely. Lekha Didi, would you like to add anything?
I think it's almost same.
Absolutely. Great. So what we're hearing is just a lot of listening space, just space and time to listen and be there. I think modeling becomes the best way to be able to teach anything, and us being able to model that empathy, model that listening space for our caregivers is what we use. So hope you have your response, Domi. We also have one more question. Let's take that as well. It's come from Boos Nasak. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Has it been challenging working with parents? I love the idea to have representatives chosen from the caregivers to build that bridge in between. So the SMC, the school management committee for us is that bridge. But I think the question is, has it been challenging working with parents? The smiles that you all are giving, Sangeeta and Lekha Didi right now, says a lot. Any of you would want to start and share? Lekha Didi, if you want to start, and Sangeeta, you can follow.
So I have learned to understand that with adults we need to be like we have to be very clear. We have to give a rationale on what and why, and so it takes time. It is not very easy in the beginning. I think after years of experience that they have with us, then it becomes a little easier to uh, connect and build that bond. But in the beginning, it's a little difficult, of course. It's not an easy task. But it is working. So we're just hoping it keeps working.
I think
Great.
one we need to understand is that we cannot change things, right? In like overnight. I think last 5 years of experience, what has changed is that the respect to the parents, having that compassionate conversations with the parents, letting them know that we are here, the trust that they want to know from us, right? Uh, if they know, once they start trusting you, you will see the drastic change. Once we start offering them respect, I wouldn't say offering, it's a wrong word. I would say they deserve and we should respect. Uh, kind of conversation start, the kind of tone we use, the kind of language we use while talking to them matters a lot when we have to engage with the caregivers and the communities. And that has worked tremendously in our context of the work, because we've been hearing a lot from our communities, and parents are saying that these Didi Bhaiyas really talk to us in a very polite manner. Because not just to the parents, but equal respect to the children as well. So we talk to the children with a lot of respectful language. So how do we if you heard I also was talking initially that how do we ensure the kind of an environment we're trying to build in the classroom is also built at home? So it's something that we are trying to do.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, yes, the work is not without its challenges, but like Sangeeta Lekha Didi shared, a lot of it begins with respect, with compassion. So, thank you for that. There's another question, a last one. I think we can take that as well. We do have the time for it. Would you say that your initiatives go outside of the classroom, improving the well-being of your students at home as well? Manisha, thank you and welcome back. Would you want to take this question and start? And then Sangeeta and Lekha Didi can also add to it.
Yes, I can share. So, I have seen in my classroom that there are some of the students who literally go home and teach their parents or caregivers about mindfulness. What is mindfulness? If they are angry, so what are the things they can do? So, and some of the caregivers also called me and they said, "Ki, Didi, they teach us in the home, and they are like." They they tell us to do mindfulness activities whenever we are angry or whenever we are screaming. If screaming on them, they are like, breathe in, breathe out for 3 times, then you will be okay. So yeah, I can see that connection in the house also.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Manisha. Sangeeta?
So I'm just adding into that it definitely goes beyond the classroom because our monthly caregivers meetings are designed in a way that the social emotional learning is not just for the students but for the adults as well and for the caregivers as well. So our monthly caregivers meetings are designed which are social emotional learning aligned. So our topics are around self-awareness, our topics around self-management, the topics around responsible decision making, all the 5 competencies that we work with at Apushala. We do bring in those conversations in our caregivers meeting. We do train our parents. We do have this one-to-one check-in. We do home visits, which actually help us to navigate and customize our approach that how well-being can be taken at home. So the conversation that we were talking about, the physical, no to physical violence or emotional violence or mental violence, we continuously tell the parents there are other ways of working with the students, other ways of talking to the children instead of the violence that they may not, they might be impacting them in certain ways. So I think yes, beyond our classroom, it does go.
Thank you. Lekha Didi, would you want to add anything? Great. All right. So those were our questions. Thank you so much, our panelists. Firstly, thank you, Vanisha. Thank you, Lekha Didi. Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you, Amrita, who's here with us on tech support. Thank you to all our team members, to all our donors, everyone who's been there. Thank you for your questions, everyone. Just to summarize a few of our learnings that we have had as a school team at Khoj, what we would want to share if we had to summarize our sort of learnings and share it with the larger world, um, it would be firstly to be able to listen deeply to the voices from the ground, from the community. It is only when we've had a chance to interact with our caregivers with that open mind to want to understand their fears, their hopes, their aspirations for their children is when what we do at Khoj becomes meaningful for us. We believe that caregivers have that lived expertise of knowing and responding to their children's needs. It is only when we come in an intimate partnership with them, with the community, that our ability to respond to what children need, what their developmental needs are, becomes more holistic. Secondly, at Khoj, we also want to be able to take a shift in our lens and how we look at the work. We're not working for the community, but we're working with the community. By that, we mean that our families are every single day responding to systemic poverty, institutional neglect, violence, and hence it's even more critical for us that we work with the community to gain a deeper understanding of what this complex reality is. We do not come in with a position of power or in as an outsider expert sort of lens to offer solutions to what may be really complex realities that they are living with. And hence our SMC at Khoj becomes a really crucial role that they play. They have an equal representation and active participation that we get from the caregivers in our work. We have seen that in the last few years, our SMC members, our school management committee that we call, these are members, these are part of our caregivers who become a part of that committee. They have advocated for a better building, better educational services, many other facilities for our students with the larger community. So they are talking about our work with the larger community as well as with the local government. So demanding for better facilities for their children, for our students. Hence, shifting the lens, not making it, we're not working for the community, but we're working with the community. Thirdly, investing in partnerships, active, intentional partnerships. This work is not work in isolation. We understand that we are not living on isolated islands. There are many people who are doing very good work, and hence building those partnerships is only going to enhance and develop our work at Khoj with the community. So bringing in knowledge partners, seeking, understanding, learning is what is helping us to build a social emotional learning aligned, which is an SEL aligned school within the larger ecosystem. Also, something that we've learned from our work is to build and share consistently. So all of the people you see on the screen today, from Sangeeta, Lekha Didi, Vanisha, me included, every one of us who works with the school, we not only work day in and day out for our school within the school premises, but we're also working to create and share articles with the larger community that advocates for what we do. Our practices, learnings from it, we publish practice informed articles on a daily basis that allows for our work to reach a larger audience. Lastly, also working with government partners. Government school systems already have a widespread network. They already have the means and resources to be able to help larger communities and people in many different ways. Hence, looking at the government as people who we can partner with and not trying to create a parallel independent sort of system where we believe that we're the ones who are doing great work, but understanding that we fit into a larger system, a larger ecosystem, and what it means to work with those, with the government in partnership also helps to be able to ground our work in reality, ground our work in making it sustainable as well for our students and our communities. These are a few things that we have learned from our work at Khoj. Thank you so much for being a part, for spending this time with us, for listening in to us. We're really humbled and honored to have this opportunity to share our work with all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of making this happen.
Thank you, everyone. Thank